guys, it's a Thursday morning. We're here at the gym, First Health. It is actually 5:03 a.m. So it's super early. This is when I actually normally train. It'll be cool to give you guys sort of an inside look as to what I actually do every single day versus coming at night and being a little bit more prepped. So this is what it looks like raw all the time, pretty much every single day. Pro tip. Look at me giving pro tips right away. I saw this from Russell Orhe. Shout out Russell. He mixes his pre-workout with Gatorade. I've been mixing mine with Powerade Zero for the last couple of days. This shit is bomb. Like, legitimately the best thing I've ever had in my entire life. So, we're gonna mix the pre-workout. We're gonna get in there. It is back biceps. We'll start on the treadmills like normal. Hit the foam roller, and then we'll get into it. I think at the end, just because I feel like I get a lot of pretty good responses when it comes to anything diet. I think at the end I'm going to, damn, I didn't think this one through. Fuck, I should have a funnel. Y'all watch this. I don't want to do this here. What do you think, Carlos? Are they going in, or you think, should I just dome it?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dome this whole, all right, I'm just gonna dome this whole scoop. Mix it in my mouth, this is gonna be bad. Oh, all right. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's the best tasting shit I've ever had. Oh, wow, that's terrible. I really should have brought my shaker cup. Regret that. Yeah, so back bicep. We're gonna walk on the treadmill, foam roll. Show you guys some differences between vertical pulls, horizontal pulls, how I like to split up my back days, and then at the end, I think we're gonna go over metabolism. I feel like I get a lot of pretty good responses on diet when I make these videos. I feel like that's what you guys want to know about. I feel like it's the toughest part about getting in good shape, leaning out, especially this time of year, is the diet aspect, because it is really complex. So we'll talk about metabolism. I obviously still don't know. I'm not some expert in metabolism, but I probably know a little bit more than the average person. So I'll give a little bit of insight, what you think you know that might not be correct, and then hopefully that'll help you guys in some way moving forwards in terms of eating and stuff. So let's get in there. Today, Pendlay Row. I'm going to kind of walk you guys through what it is, why I do it. So I like to do my heavy compounds first. That's why I'm going to do it first today. Basically, it's a standard barbell row, but instead of holding the weight down near your knees or below your knees at the beginning of the lift or rep, we're just going to start it from the floor like this. So advantages of this kind of lift, I think it involves more musculature in your back. Just from the stability aspect, but you're actually having to flex at the hips more. So what that means, your hips, because you're down lower, you're more parallel from your torso to the ground, you're actually having to push your hips back. So you're actually engaging more muscles throughout the entire lift. It's going to keep you a little bit more humble. I found it's a lot more difficult to row the same amount of weight with a Pendlay row versus a standard barbell row. And then also I think it helps with form because you're having to reset every single rep. I like it a lot. It's one of those that I throw in at least once every 2 weeks. or so. It's good, try it out. The point of this exercise, or the goal of this exercise, is to really hit all the muscles, all the big muscles of our back. So we're going to focus on our traps and lats, because those are the two muscles I assume we're all pretty familiar with. Anything that involves scapular retraction, so when you squeeze, pinch your shoulder blades together like this, that's going to be working our traps, our big muscles in the upper back. And then anything that depresses your shoulder blades, so if your shoulder blades are here, anything that moves them down like this is going to be working the lats, right down here on our sides. So the goal is to get our shoulder blades retracted and depressed through this lift. I put a big emphasis on it, but again, just make sure the technique is right, and then feeling through the actual muscles and the development of muscles. You guys will grow accustomed to that as you get used to training. So this is what it's supposed to look like. Today, we actually don't have a lat pull down in this gym for some reason. I'm going to get to the pull-ups at the end, and that's, I would say, a better exercise than lat pull downs for that specific muscle group, but we're going to do a high row instead, save the pull-ups for the end, just because that's what I was initially planning anyways. But we're going to do a cable high row. The point of this exercise is to really target our lats. So for the Pendlay Row, we were incorporating the lats. They were really like a secondary mover. Traps probably being our primary mover, because the main aspect of the movement was scapular retraction. So we're going to focus on scapular depression with this exercise. It means I'm going to sit real close to the cable, try to get my torso pretty vertical, and I'm going to focus on my elbows getting down as deep as I can. Out in front of me. So again, that's going to hit our lats, this big muscle on the side. That's what, when you're looking front on of someone, that's the muscle that kind of gives them width at the upper back. So pretty important muscle group to hit. We're just going to superset this with a regular straight bar cable curl, just to get the biceps working. Third exercise, we are going to do a seated machine row, and we're going to do a seated machine preacher curl. Definitely not a preacher curl, it's just a regular curl, whatever. So when we do a row, what we're going to focus on is pinching our shoulder blades back. I actually like this machine a lot. It's the first time I've actually ever used it, but it should look like this. We're just going to grab the weight. I like to sit back first, and you don't want to let yourself lean forwards too much like this, because we're going to lose tension on our back this way. It's really not necessarily the safest way to lift. So we want to stay tight. Let your shoulder blades roll forwards, and then back. You want your torso to stay up straight. I like to squeeze at the top. Make sure I'm feeling it through all the muscles I want to be. Machine row, easy enough, right? So most gyms don't have this machine, but you don't need it. This is basically just your standard curl. The cool thing about the machine is, number one, the grip placement is slightly supinated, and what that means is as I come up, my pinkies are going to be up higher than my index finger. So for those of you that don't know, anatomical neutral is when you're standing and your thumbs point straight forwards, and if you have a grip where your palms are up, it's called a supinated wrist position, and then pronated would be palms down. So the more you know. But we're going to be slightly supinated here, and then I've got these pads on my elbows to keep my elbows from falling backwards, make sure my biceps are doing all the work. Pro tip for the gym. For those of you out there that are maybe beginners, even for you advanced lifters if you're not the strongest. So as you can see clearly, take a look at that stack. I'm not going to be able to lift 295, so I got it set at 130, right? But the key is people around here don't know it's set at 130. So what I'm going to do, make it sound a lot heavier than it is. He used to only do like 2 reps. But for real though, don't be that guy. Don't grunt unless you need to. Unless you're doing like a max lift, you really don't need to be all that loud here in the gym. Even just doing the standard lifts, you see, for some reason, I see a lot of people that like to make a lot of noise. And it really is funny that they have a tendency to not have all that much weight on the stack or on the bar, whatever. So just if you're gonna grunt, make sure you're the strongest motherfucker in the gym, because it's embarrassing. So exercise number 4, 5, we're doing pull-ups. It's the end of the workout. I'd love to be doing weighted pull-ups, but realistically I cannot add weight without breaking form, and my goal is to always have the perfect technique. So not going to add weight. I'm actually going to use some assistance to make sure that every single rep is perfect, because again, way better than doing a pull-up with 20-pound dumbbell in between my legs. So what we're going to do, if you don't have an assistance machine, and even if you do, I think this is a better setup. We're going to use a resistance band. All I did was loop it over and then pull it through. And what we have here is just your standard resistance band. And basically what this is going to do, it's going to allow us to, in the bottom of our lift, do an easier pull-up. And then when we get to the top, we're going to lose that tension from the band. So I'm going to really focus on the isometric component at the top and right at the beginning of the eccentric, and at the bottom I'll explode up, hold for a second, slow on the way down, and then all the way down, explode up, hold, slow down, and I'll just get as many reps as I can in. Probably do 2 sets of these. This is gonna be my finisher today, so I'm gonna really burn it out if I can. I'm probably gonna slap myself in the face trying to do this. Don't be scared of pull-ups, guys. When I put these in programs for clients, I feel like they're always a little timid, unsure of themselves when it comes to pull-ups. And again, you can use the assistant machine if you have it. I think this is a better option. They do have water bands, which make it a little bit easier, but again, slip your foot through, makes the pull-ups easier. This is actually gonna make you better at pull-ups, and the goal is to do this enough to where you can do regular pull-ups by yourself without the band. So I obviously have been doing this a long time. I still use it. There's nothing embarrassing about it. No reason to be unsure of yourself or to feel like it's weird to use the assistants. Take advantage of it if you need it, because again, we're all in here trying to get better. So it doesn't really matter what we're doing as long as we're doing it right. Nobody, I promise you, nobody is judging you if you're taking advantage of all your resources. So we're gonna do one more set. This is pretty much going to finish up the back component of our back bicep day. Yeah. All right. So last bicep exercise today is going to be one of my favorite bicep exercises right now. I actually just made a post about it on my Instagram. I'm going to pop my Instagram handle down below right there, so go follow me. Pretty good stuff, I think. So basically for the curl, it's going to be 2 different types of curls combined into one. There is a concentric component obviously on the way up. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna basically an isometric contraction, fancy lingo for holding the weight in place while the muscle's contracted here. And then we're gonna, as we switch grips, that's where the isometric is, and then eccentric real slow. So we're hitting all 3 phases when it comes to actual lifting and exercise. Those are the functions of the muscles as we do a lift. You got the concentric, isometric component as we switch concentric, eccentric, and then eccentric back down. So enough words. I'm going to show you what that means. So lightweight, I'm going to do a drop set. I'm going to go 20, 15, 10, do as many reps as I can each time. I'm going to back up, switch from a hammer curl to a standard supinated grip bicep curl, and then eccentric back down. And then I keep this grip, concentric, switch back. Actually pretty easy. So we're gonna come over here. We're gonna grab the hundos. Subtract to 0. So we're gonna grab the 10s. Let me show you guys some tips when it comes to just technique for the standard curl. So I'm sure if you've been into your normal gym, you've seen people doing curls. The reason I typically like to do an alternating curl, and a lot of people don't like to do it because they feel like they're cheating as they side bend. I like to do it is that unilateral movement, or that single side of our body movement with one arm. It keeps me from rocking forward and using my momentum. So when you do a 2-arm bicep curl at the same time, a lot of times we have the tendency to, as we pull the weight forwards, we lean back with our torso. So it'll look like this. And that is not good. So as I do this, I'm really focused on keeping my elbows by my side, keeping my torso completely straight, core engaged all the way through. And of course, flex as hard as you can, because why not? If I'm using the tens, I try to look as big as I can while I do it, you know? Just wrapped up full day, back biceps for me. We basically hit 4 or 5 movements for each muscle group, and that's really all you need, 3 to 4 sets. I am on a hypertrophy split right now, so what that means is instead of coming in and having certain weights I have to hit with certain heavy compounds, I've got a little bit more freedom to come in and work through a variety of exercises and lifts and techniques, and I think it's cool. I think it'll be cool for YouTube, just so I can show you guys a little bit more variety in my workouts than just a standard squat, deadlift, overhead press, bench, whatever. So real quick, before I get in the car and roll out, I got to get to work. I'm sure my kids are already waiting for me in the classroom, but I'm going to talk through metabolism. I think this is one of the topics that a lot of people don't really understand, and when I talk to people, they have a tendency, if they're overweight, to just naturally say, well, I have a slow metabolism. And then if I talk to people that are underweight or skinny, they have a tendency to say, well, my metabolism's just too fast. And the thought process behind that, even though it's not bad, like you have an understanding of what metabolism is, but the reality is the less weight we carry, the less mass we have on our frame, the lower our metabolism is actually going to be. So somebody that's overweight or obese is actually going to have a higher metabolism than someone that's really skinny. And that sounds weird, but the reality is people that are overweight outside of medical issues, obviously there's people that have medical issues, this is just for the average person. People that are overweight or obese are typically consuming more calories. Their calorie intake is just higher, and what that means is their metabolism is going to have to respond, because our body adapts really, really well to all stimulus, and that's why working out makes our muscles bigger. If you eat more food, it's going to make you bigger. It just kind of makes more sense. And if you think about it on the way down, kind of the opposite direction, when you're losing weight, if let's say I'm eating 3,000 calories a day to maintain, which is pretty close to where I'm at, but let's say I drop that down to 2,600 and I'm trying to lean out, cut weight. Well, as I get smaller, the reality is my metabolism doesn't increase, because what that would mean is if my metabolism got faster the more I lost weight, then I could continuously eat 2,600 calories and just keep losing weight, and it doesn't work that way. It is difficult, but it's possible for all of us. All right, so good luck. This is going to be it for this video. I know I have a tendency to word vomit at the end. I just like to talk on camera because I got a lot to say. Hopefully you guys can pick up and learn a lot. But that was a push workout, or a pull workout, back biceps. Try those exercises out. Let me know what you think about them. Please comment if you have something you want to see in the next video. Like and subscribe as always. Appreciate you guys watching the video as always. Peace and love. Carter Fit out.